Hello everyone, my name is Lanka from Michigan State University. The title of my teaching aids research project is Effect of Active Learning on Student Performance in Food Processing Class. Food Processing course or unit operations is another name, is a required courses for food science majors in the Department of Food Science and Human Nutrition. This is a sophomore level class. In this class, the students learn the basic unit equipment commonly used in industry for repair, process, and reserve variety of food products. However, being a teaching assistant for this class in 2 years, I recognize that some students struggle with applying food processing principles to predict how unit operation influence the attribute or properties of food. Therefore, this study was designed to evaluate the effect of implementing flipped classroom elements and in-class discussion on student performance in this class. Next, please. So the teaching aids research questions is how do pre-class readings and in-class activity improve the student learning in food processing course? The participants for this studies were the students who enrolled for food processing unit operation course in 3 years. In 2018, we have 60 participants. 52 in 2017 and 64 students in 2016. The course were offered in spring semester. In each year, the lectures were taught 3 days a week from 12:40 to 1:30 p.m. in the same room by the same instructor. The interventions were applied in 2018, and we hypothesized that the combinations of reading before class and in-class discussion will help to improve academic performance of students in unit operation. Next, please. So this slide showing how the project was designed. In spring 2016, the instructor gave the lecture to the student only. After every 9 lectures, then the student took a midterm exam. In 2017, the structure of the lectures of the course were the same as in 2016, but the instructor brought some food sample to class so the student can see the product, taste the product. 1 or 2 questions were asked related to the product, and this is the whole class discussion. At the beginning of the course in spring 2016 and 2017, the instructor introduced to the student that all of the lectures was based on the information from the book named Food Processing Technology, Principles and Practice. However, there was no reading required for the student in these 2 years. So in 2018, the intervention was applied. The student had an assigned reading related to the lecture, which extracted from the same textbook, and then they had to take the quiz every day before class. Each quiz has 4 questions, and they have to complete it in 10 minutes. Additionally, we also introduced group-based in-class activity in the existing course structure. So every 3 lectures, we brought food sample to class and divide the student in a group of 3 or 4 students, and then give them a couple questions related to the product they choose for them to discuss. And for the assessment, the scores of exam 1 and 2 were collected in 3 years. Except in 2018, the quiz scores before the lecture and the post-exam surveys were collected to evaluate the effects of the intervention. Next, please. So here's the result of the project. The chart on the left is showing the average score of exam 1 and 2 in 3 semesters. The blue one is 2016, orange one in 2017, and the gray bar is in 2018. So the result showing that in spring semester of 2018 with the intervention has higher score, which were 86 for exam 1 and 90 for exam 2. Also, the chart on the right showing that quiz grade, which the student have to do it before lecture every day before they come to the class, showing that the quiz grades from reading assignment has positive correlation with exam grade, which means that the student has high quiz score, also have high score in the exam. So in sum, the reading and quiz before lecture has improved the exam score of the student. Next, please. This is the boss surveys, boss exam survey from the student. We have different questions. This is just 2 questions I extract from the survey. The 2 charts showing that the percentage of student respond from the post-exam survey. The chart on the left is the response of the student for the question. The reading assignment helps me understand the lecture better, with 42% agree with that statement and 5% strongly agree with this statement. So the chart on the right is the response of the student for the question. The activity in class helped me understand the lecture better, with 43% agree and 12% strongly agree with this statement. So these results showing that the combinations of reading before class and in class discussions helps the student understand the course material better. Next, please. So in summary, we conclude that using flipped class elements like providing reading assignment and quizzes before lecture can help students better prepare before going to class, as well as it provides the instructor insight into student thinking before class, so the instructor can focus on what is misunderstanding. Also, working in the class on group assignment helps students understand the course material better because they have chance to express their own idea. Also, they can listen to their classmates. The combinations of reading before class and in-class discussion has improved academic performance of the student in food processing class. Therefore, this method can be applied for other food processing class such as fruit and vegetables, processing, cereal, milk, meat processing in food science nature.
Okay, we're at 7 minutes.
Questions, please.
Great questions. Great job. So again, I encourage folks to add questions to the discussion board.
So I do the t-test to compare different score between 2 years.
And then, Lauren, how about how could you control or account for students' prior academic preparedness between the 3 semesters?
So the interventions only apply in 2018 because in the previous 2 years the instructor gave them the ebook, the textbook, but I'm not sure that if the student read the book before they go into the class because it's not required, it's an optional. So that's why in this year we put the reading assignments for the student, and all of the quiz online was specific related to the material in the reading assignment. So the student have to read that before taking the quiz. If they don't read that, they can answer the quiz wrong. So that's how I know if they really read the material. And all the reading really related to the lecture which the instructor gave that day.
And then how about, is it possible that students might be sharing exams and just doing better because they had more practice exams?
That's a really good question. I cannot control because it's an online quiz. Besides, we're using the same exam between 2-3 years. So for the 2018, I also have some bonus questions, which is related to some discussion in class and some quiz online. So it's completely, they don't have it in 2016 and 17. So from that, I can see if the student really understand the course material.
Great. And how about, given this results, will the course be modified to incorporate this intervention, or would you even modify the intervention for the future?
Yeah, definitely. We're happy to see the results. So I and the instructor would like to do this intervention for next year, but also what we would like to see, because we have one command from the student that it would be better if the student take the quiz after the lecture to test their understanding. So maybe we will test that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.